is a perfect day to make one of my favorite dishes, and it's country fried steak. So what this is you get some tenderized beef, and what they do is they pound some meat till it's real kind of thinner, and you serve it with the gravy. You make a gravy, and all the time I make this, I serve it with mashed potatoes and gravy. Today I'm going to use these baby Yukon Golds, which I've never bought before, but my sister-in-law made some wonderful mashed potatoes for my mom, and I tasted them. They were amazing. So I asked my brother, what did she put in these, or what did she do? And he said she used these potatoes, so I'm going to try them. And then we're going to have corn on the cob, and I'll show you the whole meal when we're done. So let's get started. Okay, this is 1 pound of cube steak. The recipe I'm using is for 1 pound. The first thing you want to do is take all the moisture with a paper towel. You want to dry your meat, because if you don't dry it, the flour and everything will not stick to it. I don't know if you've ever tried doing that, but if you don't dry your meat well enough, your flour and egg mixture will not stick to it. So I'm going to get another paper towel and get all the moisture out of this meat. Now I've put some parchment paper underneath the meat, just so any kind of moisture gets soaked up. So then what you're going to do, I salt and pepper both sides. And I will put the amounts in the description. I'm not really measuring because I kind of know how much I want. But I will put everything in the description. So I'm going to put salt and pepper. I'm going to put a little bit of garlic powder. I don't put a lot when I'm cooking or frying because I don't want it to burn the garlic. And I'm going to put a little bit of paprika and a little bit. Mainly the main ingredients for this that I use are salt and pepper. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and I'm going to pat it dry again, just like I did the front, and season it again on the other side. Then you want to crack 1 or 2 eggs. Now I always do 2 because a lot of times I've used 1 and it wasn't enough. So I'm going to put about a half a cup of milk, and then I'm going to beat the egg with the milk. And you want 2 pans of just flour. So I took a cup of flour and I divided it in half. I put a half a cup of flour in each one of these. I do have a little more milk. If I need it, I can put it in. But in the meantime, the first thing I'm going to do is place one of these cube steaks in flour, and I'm going to press down on it to make sure the flour is sticking to it. And I'm only going to cook one of these at a time because I don't want to crowd the pan. So after I press this in the flour mixture, I'm going to dip it in the egg mixture, and then I'm going to put it in the other flour mixture and coat it one more time in the flour mixture. And I do it in a separate one so it doesn't stick to that flour. And then in the meantime, right about now, you want to heat up your oil till it's really hot. And if it isn't hot enough, nothing's going to stick. So I have about 1 inch of oil in my iron skillet, and I will meet you at the stove. So here's your hot skillet. You can take a little flour and kind of drop it in. If it starts sizzling, you know the oil is hot enough to start cooking. So I'm going to take my steak and I'm going to very carefully place it in the pan, just like that. And we're going to cook that probably about 2 to 3 minutes on one side. Then we'll turn it over and cook it for about the same time on the other. Okay, this has been cooking 3 minutes, so I'm going to very carefully flip it over. It's hot oil, so you want to be very gentle. And now we'll cook it about 3 minutes on the other side. Okay, when I'm done frying the meat, I'm going to take all this grease and pour it in a can. And I'll save a little of it, about like that, to make my gravy. So I'll be right back. Okay, next I'm going to take some of the leftover flour, and I'm going to probably put anywhere from a 1/4 cup to a 1/3 cup of flour. And what you want to do is cook the flour first so it's brown. And what that does is it prevents the flour taste. So you're going to keep stirring this about a minute, and then we're going to add, if you want a white gravy, you're going to add milk. I'm going to add 2 cups of either, you can have beef broth if you want a brown gravy, or white milk for a white gravy. And I put a little bit, like a 1/2 cup of beef broth mixed in with the milk, so I have a total of 2 cups. Because I do like a little bit of a golden look to my gravy also. So you do have a lot of the gristle from the bottom, which is what you want. We're just going to stir this, and we'll probably add some salt and pepper, and I'll let you know when it's ready. So I'm leaving the skins on because on Yukon Gold potatoes, the skins are very thin. Okay, this is how they're supposed to look, nice and golden. And this is before I put gravy on them. They look really good. Okay, here we go. Looks delicious. So I'm going to taste the mashed potatoes first. Now, I left the skins on because I was too lazy to peel them off because they're real thin and they taste good with it. It's not like russets where most of the time you want to take them off. This is delicious too. Now my gravy has a kind of a little darkened tone to it, and that's because of the iron skillet. Sometimes I don't like to do gravy in an iron skillet because if I cook the gravy too fast, and it's not burnt, but it just kind of is more gristle. It's delicious though. This is a really easy recipe and it's so good. So if you want a comfort meal and you're in the mood for something like this, it's absolutely delicious with corn. So thanks everyone for watching. I really appreciate it.